Hey, St. Patrick Catholic School. It is a Wednesday afternoon. I'm recording this after another really busy day here on campus, getting ready for the start of the school year, which we keep working hard, preparing and praying that we will be together on August 18th, moving forward into phasing in, and then hopefully by mid-September we will all be together as we all want. So lots of big changes this year, as we know, and one of those is the morning drop-off procedure. So it is going to look quite different, and so I wanted to communicate this with you with lots of visuals through a presentation. So hopefully you can go through this. You'll have some slides as well, and you can play this as many times as you need to, as we'll continue to work through these questions as we approach the start of the school year. So I'm going to share this presentation with you and take you through the morning drop-off procedure for 2020 and 21. All right, so first we need to look at why we're doing this and the old way and the new way. So we're implementing this new procedure to support safe social distancing during morning drop-off. So we're going to have 3 entry points for students based on their cohorts, so their grade levels, so that they can be health screened before they head to their classrooms. We know that this year they will not be able to congregate in big groups and big communal spaces like Schindler Hall and the Commons area or the cafeteria, so they'll have to go straight to their classrooms, and so this will help us control that as best we can. The big change again too is that the vehicles, as you approach campus, you'll be staying right and going past the Celtic Center, just like you do in the afternoons now. We're going to be doing that in the mornings as well. And so we talked about this scenario a lot, especially school board was a big help with this. A lot of good ideas as to how we can do this appropriately. Father Jeff had some great ideas too. So we're excited about this plan and hope that it's going to go really smoothly, especially as we phase students in. Here's the old way. Here's how we used to do it, where you would stay left and go up the hill. An aerial shot is down here. You see this arrow. You'll stay left, just like you're going to Mass on a Sunday morning. You head that way towards the entrance, and then you loop around and head back out. So that's the old way. This is a picture from our handbook that we've used for many, many years at St. Patrick. And you see those cones. That's where our safety patrol kids were. The younger kids would get off on the curb. Older kids could get off in the middle there by the island and then skip across. So that's the old way. With the new way, we're going to stay right. So you see, you'll enter campus where you see number 1. You'll stay right, go past the Celtic Center, up the hill, and then around the curb where the new preschool building is being built. And you'll see there it says 6th through 8th exit. I'll talk about why that is here in just a second. But this is the new traffic flow for the morning. So same as the afternoon. There'll be 3 drop-off locations. The first is for 6th through 8th graders. So our middle schoolers will get dropped off right in front of the Celtic Center like they're heading to basketball practice. We'll have some staff members down there to make sure they're getting out safely. They'll be health screened at the Celtic Center before they head up to the Commons. Our main school entrance, where kids are typically used to entering, will be for our JKs, Ks, 1st and 2nd graders. And then 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders will head to the parish doors where they'll be health screened there, and then they'll head down the bell tower stairs to their classrooms. That's also where any bus riders will go. Bus riders are going to be dropped off at the top of the hill now. And so we'll be working through that with our bus routes, and then they'll head through the church to get down because they'll be health screened as well before they head to their classrooms. All right, so what does that look like? Preschool families also will be dropped off at the top, and preschool staff will be right there on the island. And I know our preschool families are continuing to receive lots of communication about how that will work and how the health screening process will work for them. Before we get to where those drop-off locations are going to look like from an aerial shot, I want to talk about how the health screening process is going to work. So St. Patrick Catholic School purchased 3 temperature scanning kiosks that will be located at each entry point. And they are high-powered tablets with LCD screens. They have facial recognition on them and a thermal reading ability so that they can take every staff member and student's temperature as they enter school. So it's really cool devices. They actually can identify if we're wearing a mask or not, which we're supposed to be wearing masks as we enter and exit school. When we move, we mask. So they'll be able to do that for us too. The exclusion criteria for fevers throughout Kentucky in all schools is 100.4 or higher. So that will be the cutoff point. That's what the tablet is looking for. If for some reason the student does have the temperature, we will be very sensitive to that and make sure that we take that child to a safe location where they're not being viewed upon by their peers or anything like that. We'll go ahead and call the parent and let you know. And then we also realize that we want to get as accurate reading as possible. So we're going to have lots of infrared touchless thermometers, handhelds, in addition to these kiosks. And so we can take a second reading from that. But we also want to give about 10 minutes and make sure that that child, that temperature is accurate. And in the meantime, we'll give the parents a call to let them know that the child did receive or did have a high temperature. It's probably good practice if you're not doing this already. I do this with my two boys. They've been going to daycare since June 15th, and so we take their temperatures a lot more often than we used to, certainly. But you may want to consider screening your child. Bus riders, that's mandatory. But even if your child's not a bus rider, maybe keep one in the car or do it at home before your children get into the car to head to school, just so you're not caught off guard. And again, that's just a suggestion that may help with this process. All staff will be using the kiosks as well, depending on where they're entering the building. So just know it will be all people on campus. We mentioned bus riders. It's mandatory for bus riders to have their temperature taken before they get on the school bus by their parent, and then they'll also be screened as they enter campus as well. Temperatures will not be taken at other times during the school day unless a child maybe lets an adult know that they're not feeling well, and then we'll take care of that child and take their temperature and call home. I do want to acknowledge, if you haven't been on campus lately, the construction work for the preschool building. It's very exciting. And there's a lot going on. There's big cement trucks and things coming through the last week or so. So they're putting a gas line in right now, and they've been cutting through the concrete. So that's all supposed to finish in the next couple of weeks, but there still will be more of a narrow lane when you come around that curve if you're coming that direction. So I just want to mention that and make sure we're being careful as we approach there. All of this, the contractors and staff workers, they know what time our drop-off is, 7:15 to 7:45. They know what time we dismiss. And so I know that they'll make sure that things are tidy and as clean as they can be. But the parking spots are taken up by fencing on both sides. So just be cautious of that as you're pulling through this year in morning and in afternoon pickup. So again, just to review, there's three drop-off locations, one for middle school, one for JK to second, and one for third, fourth, and fifth. Middle school students should get out on the curb side of the Celtic Center. We know those older kids can get out quickly. We feel like that'll be safe, and they can enter that way to help space out our different groups of students. JK to 5 students will all get out on the curbside, similar to how they did in the morning in years past. They'll just be coming from the opposite direction. Third, fourth, and fifth graders will walk a little bit further down the sidewalk to the church, and then JK to second grade will get out and go through the front office. We'll have staff available to make sure that kids are wearing their masks, that they're 6 feet apart, and that in the kiosk, when working as we expected through demos and things, takes just a few seconds to have that temperature screened, and we'll have a staff member there making sure kids are getting through correctly. So those are our 3 locations. Again, you're entering from the right, number 1, heading towards number 2, and then around the bend to number 3. So that's the new flow of traffic. And here's just a better snapshot of where everybody should be. So number 1 is middle school. Number 2 is JK to second grade, right there at the front entrance. Third, fourth, and fifth graders will be going where that number 3 is located, where you enter church when you're heading to Mass. Number 4 is preschool. And so preschool families, you'll be heading up the hill, and then you'll go around that curb to that island on the far side there and be greeted by the preschool staff, and then they'll safely walk the preschoolers across the crosswalk and into preschool. So that's how it's going to look this year. This is the new way for 2021. Will we continue to do this? We'll see how it goes, with health screens and the requirement there. But we feel like this is the best way to socially distance all of our students, to health screening them properly with our kiosks in a way that is safe and keeps a distance for everybody. And hopefully this goes well in the morning, and we have enough time to get everybody in the building. So we'll work through that and make adjustments as we need to. But we appreciate your support and following these new procedures. Let us know if you have any questions. Like anything with carpool, we implemented Pick My Kid in the spring. Lots of questions, but lots of support. And by the end of that, before the pandemic hit, we were really rolling there with Pick My Kid, and we'll continue to plan to use that in 2021. So thanks everyone for your attention. God bless. Continue to keep St. Patrick community in your thoughts and prayers, and we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks. Thanks so much.